Peter Boucher has asked me to come along and show you how to cook the perfect roast pork crackling. Now, Peter goes to a lot of trouble to make sure that he has for you some of the best free-range pork available in Australia. And I've got two cuts here. I've got one without the bone here, and you can see it's got a lovely amount of fat on the outside here. I love fat, it's what gives it flavour, and to me that's really important. However, if you want something a little bit leaner, this rack is perfect. Now, the trick with making the perfect pork crackling is to make sure the skin is dried out. If it comes straight out of plastic or a cryovac bag, it'll be very, very soft, and it's a lot harder to get that to crackle. So my tip is to take it out of the plastic and let it dry up in the fridge, at least overnight, and you get this firmer skin. What I like to do is take my pork out of the fridge and pop it on the bench here. That will allow it to come up to temperature perfectly so it cooks nice and evenly. Now, another thing I like to do, and this is the fun part, is grab your extra virgin olive oil, and that will allow the heat to get all around the pork. Now, rub the oil all over the pork. You want to make it nice and sticky, and that's important because you want the salt to stick to the outside of it, and salt will help dry out that crackling so it blisters up and becomes nice and hard. I'll pop this over here onto my wire rack. Once you've got your pork on the rack, you need to make sure your oven is nice and hot. I turn it up to 220 degrees. We want that heat to blister the outside of the skin. It goes into the oven for about 25 minutes, and once that skin's blistered up, I turn the oven down to a nice slow 160 degrees till it's cooked all the way through. I use my digital thermometer to get the right temperature, 70 degrees Celsius, and then I take it out and rest it. After you roast your meat, let it rest for about half the cooking time. Now, this is rested beautifully, and all I need to do is just cut through it like this. And I'll stop so that you can listen to the sound, because this is why we eat pork. Oh, the sound of crackling. And as you can see, there's no juices dripping out onto the chopping board. All the juices are staying in the pork where it belongs. It looks delicious, it's glistening, it's the way it should be. Pop it on the plate there like that, and all we need is a little bit of apple sauce to go on the outside. That is great pork, and it's really important when you do buy pork, you buy the best that you can afford. And we've made sure that Peter has gone around, hunted down all the farms and made sure he's got us the best pork, and of course, the best crackling.